Dr. Yu, you mentioned the National Basketball Association. So I want to ask you about that. I represent the University of Kentucky. There are currently 26 Kentucky Wildcats in the National Basketball Association. So I count myself as one of the 2.2 billion NBA fans worldwide. And with 210 million followers across social media platforms, NBA social media platforms, the NBA is arguably the most popular sports league in the world. But the NBA is big business in China. NBA playoffs broadcast on state-run TV in China, and the NBA derives $5 billion from China every year. ESPN examined investments of the 40 principal owners of the NBA and found that they collectively have more than $10 billion tied up in China, including one owner whose company has a joint venture with an entity that has actually been sanctioned by the U.S. government. Now, I think on the one hand, exporting American basketball into China could be quite advantageous in the cultural competition that we have. On the other hand, because NBA players and owners have so much of a financial stake in China, I worry that it is a risk, and we saw this with LeBron James on full display criticizing the Houston Rockets general manager for actually defending pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong. Talk to me about the NBA, China's influence over the NBA, what risks there are, and does Congress have a role in helping the NBA see the light?
That's a very good question, Congressman, and I'm a big fan of Kentucky Wildcats myself. Let me put it this way. U.S.-China relationship should never just be a bilateral relationship between governments. There is a trilateral side of that, too. That is between American people and Chinese people. Chinese people, just like everybody else, love the NBA, love basketball. And so there's a huge market. That should be normal. The problem is Chinese government control all the access of civil engagement. So that's the problem. So you have to really make sure that there is some kind of legislature that will guarantee Americans equal access to Chinese market without the Chinese government unlawful interference on issues such as a tweet by a basketball manager, and that will cause the complete suspension of the entire broadcast business. That is not only immoral, but also should be illegal in some way. You can find some kind of legislature to do that. So that's why I think I hate to use the word, well, I'm not going to say this, but I think it's very important for us to engage, to basically deal with the Chinese government, not just to believe that China only is represented by Chinese Communist Party. And that's a very important distinction. I mentioned that I have some government experience working previously. The single most violent reaction from the Chinese Communist Party is American statement that the Chinese Communist Party is not the same as Chinese people. That drives them crazy, nuts, because that's the biggest fear. And they fear that Chinese people would identify with American values and principles, including our passion for basketball.